per intervention. Buenas tardes, comenzamos la rueda de prensa. Recuerden, una pregunta por intervención y antes de identificarse con su nombre y el del medio.
Hola Jude, Victorio Calero en directo para Real Madrid Televisión. Mañana se juega el que debería ser un clásico en Europa, Liverpool-Real Madrid. ¿Consideras al Liverpool en estos momentos uno de los equipos más en forma?
Yeah, I think that's clear, good evening, everyone, for a start. I think that's clear. Obviously, they're top of the league in England, and I think top of the Champions League standings at the minute as well. So I think it's clear to see how good of a team they are. They've got players who have kind of come to a new level, some of the younger lads, and then the more experienced lads who have been world-class for a long time. So it'll be a great test, but a great game, and, still confident.
Buenas tardes, Jude. Aquí Sergio López para el AS. ¿Qué le diría a Bellingham a quienes estos días están diciendo que el Real Madrid, con las bajas con las que llega, mañana sale goleado?
Yeah, that's what you guys might be saying. Inside our dressing room, inside our bus, everything, we're confident. We've had injuries before, and we've managed to pull through. I have complete trust and complete faith in the squad that we have. All the players can make an impact, whether it's from the starting 11 or from the bench. And historically, whenever players have had to come in, they've always performed really well. So no worries about that whatsoever.
Hola, Jude. Darío Araujo para Caliente TV.
Perdona, yo voy dando el turno,
Okay.
¿vale? Vamos con Martín, OK Diario.
¿Qué tal, Jude? Iván Martín de OK Diario. El otro día, posiblemente en Leganés, se vio tu mejor partido de la temporada. Jugaste en una posición un poquito más como el año pasado. Yo te quería preguntar si te sientes más cómodo en esa zona del campo, no tan pegando a la banda como has jugado en algún momento en este curso.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I think I played well. Obviously, I think the goal maybe clouds stuff a little bit in terms of my other performances. I think when I look at my performances this season, I'm really honest when I review them, and I think they've been of a good level. I think the difference is that they probably don't make the headlines because of the goals and things, which I understand. I set a high expectation from last year, and I have a expectation to score goals. But I think even so far this season, when I haven't, I've still managed to perform at a high level in games. And the game the other day was good. The position was a bit more fluid than I've played in sometimes this season. I'm certainly not a wide player. I think that's clear. I'd play my best football when I'm free to roam, and especially in the middle of the pitch. And long may it continue.
Hola, Youth. Hola, ¿qué tal? Olivier Lorenzo del País. Has jugado en diferentes posiciones esta temporada. Has pasado por diferentes sitios en el campo. No sé cómo has vivido todo eso. ¿Cómo has vivido tu adaptación a este nuevo Real Madrid al que ha llegado Kylian Mbappe? ¿Cómo te ves? ¿Cómo te has visto en estos meses en el equipo? Gracias.
Yeah, it's been like any kind of adaptation to a team. Players have left, great players have joined, and it changes the dynamic slightly of how maybe we want to play or the formations we'll be playing, and the positions of certain players. I've always shown that I can play in multiple positions because of my skill set, and I'm happy to sacrifice for the team when it's needed. I think it's clear where I prefer to play, but I still don't mind in terms of whatever the manager wants me to do. I don't think the arrival of any player, Kylian, for example, in your question, has affected that at all. We set up to try and beat the opposition. I'm put in a position that the manager believes is the best position for me in whatever game to have an impact on that game. I think Kylian's been absolutely great coming in. I think he gets a lot of criticism, and it's a bit over the top for me. I think if you look at what he's contributed so far, it's really good, and it's scary because I see him every day in training, and I know he's only going to get better. In terms of him coming, I don't think that's been the reason why I've changed positions. Like you said, we've had a lot of injuries as well, and things you got to adapt to in a game and in a club and in a team.
Jude, kind of follows on from the chat about yourself at the moment, because obviously after the game against Ireland, you put out that you'd got your smile back in an England shirt and you're very grateful. When and why did you lose that smile? And was it purely at international level, or was it to do with club form as well?
No. I think, like I said, when I've reviewed the games, I felt like my form has been okay. Well, pretty good, to be honest. I just haven't been scoring goals, and that's not the reason why. I've got to be honest, I think I lost my smile a lot after the Euros when it came to playing for England because of, I don't know, I felt like I was a little bit mistreated in comparison to what I contributed. I felt like some of it was a bit harsh on me. I think I felt a bit like the scapegoat. Maybe I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, and I think that camp with a lot of new faces really brought out the joy in my game again. I think you could see that in the two games, but in general, I hadn't lost my smile in the Madrid shirt. Obviously, I'm annoyed when we lose, and I get frustrated and I get upset when we lose, but it's never a case of not being happy. You know, I'm the luckiest lad in the world. I get to play week in, week out for the biggest club in the world and represent my country. So, yeah, I think that was more to do with a little bit of how I was treated on the back of the Euros. But, yeah, smile is back.
Hola, Jude. Soy Rubén Cañizares de ABC. Yo quería preguntarte por un compañero tuyo en la selección y creo que por un amigo, que es por Trent Alexander-Arnold. ¿Te gustaría jugar con él a su lado la próxima temporada? ¿Habláis de esto entre vosotros?
Well, I'll be playing alongside him next season for England anyway, hopefully. So that will be a guarantee. But, you know, he's a Liverpool player, and I think it's disrespectful, especially to come to his home today and speak with the huge game tomorrow, to speak something that could be misconstrued or anything like that. So I think it's important to take that kind of pressure off him, and obviously he's a really good mate of mine, and I want him to do really well, normally, obviously not tomorrow night, but yeah, we'll see what happens, but like I said, he's a Liverpool player.
Hey you, how are you? Joel Del Rio from Marca. I'm going to try in English if you want it.
Oh yeah, nice.
I would like to know just if you are, the most important thing of the team is the adaptability. We have seen Valverde playing as a midfielder, also as a winger the last game. You can play also in many positions, but I just want to know if you are really happy in that position, because the last 4 games, 2 with the national teams and 2 with Real Madrid, it seems like you are happier now than ever. So I just want to know if you have talked with Carlo Ancelotti about that.
Amazing English, my friend. I think, yeah, I speak with Ancelotti every day. You know, I have a good relationship with the coach. Like I said, I've filled in positions to make sacrifices just like other players have. I think it's highlighted a bit more because, like I said, I've not scored as many goals. But I think you look at my all-round contribution in other positions, I feel like I can still affect games. But I know where I'm most effective. I think I've relayed that to the coach. But also, just like Fede, just like Kama, Aurelian, we're a team of many players with a broad skill set, you know, where we're quite complete. And so when it's necessary at times, we have to fill in positions because that's what our squad does. And, you know, the injuries don't help. But I definitely know where I'm most comfortable on the pitch. And also it's my responsibility the way that I interpret a position as well. I think if I'm put into a certain position, it's my responsibility to try and maximise it as well as I can and not let that be an excuse for me. So yeah, whatever the coach asks me, I'll do it, and I'll try and do it to the best of my ability.
Jude, just to follow up on the smile back on your face question, you said you felt like you were maybe a scapegoat for the Euros. Could you maybe expand on what exactly you felt? Was that the media putting pressure on you, or what was it?
For me, pressure's not a problem. I understand that playing for Real Madrid, the expectations are going to be high for me wherever I go, even if it's with the national team. And you know, I felt like I contributed some pretty big moments, and in the end, it felt like the kind of whole world was kind of crumbling down on me after the Euro, especially after the 3 days following the final. And you know, it wasn't a nice feeling. There was a few things that happened during the tournament. I think one of the big criticisms of me was that I didn't speak to the media. I didn't want to do any press conferences, and I think that was reported in a way that made it sound like I think I'm above it. It's not that at all. I had some personal things going on where journalists had gone to go and see members of my family whilst I was at the tournament. Went to visit my grandparents, you know, and it's something I've kept to myself. And you know, I don't think that's fair. I think that crosses the line of respect. You know, I think that's where for me I took it a little bit personally and decided that I'll just focus on the football and try and let that do the talking instead of talking in the press to people that seemingly don't respect me. You know, that was a big thing for me. You know, I think my family comes first. My nan didn't want to leave her house for the whole summer, bless her. So I think maybe I should have communicated that before so people understood my situation, but that was a little bit more personal to me, and that's why I decided not to, just to keep my mouth shut.
Hola, Jude. Ahora sí, Darío Araujo para Caliente TV. Lamentablemente ayer nos enteramos de la lesión de Vini y sabemos también que eres uno de sus mejores amigos dentro del vestuario. No sé cómo está él, cómo está el grupo y también cuánto importante va a ser Vinicius estos días que no va a estar. Gracias.
I've said it before, I think Vini's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. So when you get so used to having a player of that presence and that magnitude on the field, of course it's a big hit when he's not there. But like I said, I have full faith in the other players that we've got who can step up in those positions. Obviously, I get on with him really well. He was a little bit upset that he couldn't travel and contribute to the team. Like he has done so many on so many big nights for us, but it's our responsibility now as players to each take more responsibility and step up in his absence.
Jude, aquí José Padilla, defensa central. Hace un tiempo se habló aquí en esta rueda de prensa que quizá Bellingham podía fichar por el Liverpool. Quería preguntarte qué hay de cierto y qué te llevó a fichar por el Real Madrid.
Yeah, I think it probably wasn't as close as a lot of the media made out. You know, I had conversations with a few clubs on leaving Borussia Dortmund. I made that decision. Then they gave me permission to speak to a few clubs. And, you know, one thing I have to say is all the clubs that I spoke to were very respectful of me and my family, which for me is a huge value and something that I really respected. So I don't want to say anything that sounds disrespectful to them. But, you know, when Real Madrid come knocking on the door, you know, it shakes the whole house, and it's one that you can't, it's hard not to open and accept. So I think, like I've said before, it's not a fact, it's not a matter of the other teams weren't good or they were bad when I spoke to them. It's just that Real Madrid are on a different level.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Juanma Sánchez de Radio Nacional. Enhorabuena por el premio que te han dado del mejor jugador de la liga pasada, la AFE. El año pasado marcaste con el Real Madrid 23 goles en toda la temporada, este año llevas 2. Has dicho que no es lo más importante y Ancelotti también ha contado que este año, como está Mbappe, pues ya no te pide que marques tantos goles. ¿Qué es lo que te pide este año el míster Ancelotti en tu trabajo? Gracias.
Yeah, thank you very much for the first bit. Yeah, like you said, I think I arrived last summer. The club lost arguably one of the greatest goal scorers of the generation in Karim Benzema, and I think there was an approach to try and help recover those goals in a different kind of way. You know, we signed me, Joselu, Brahim, and I think collectively kind of covered that hole. And this year, you know, we've signed one of the best players of this generation, you know, and he's someone that's obviously scored an amazing amount of goals. So as a team, we expect him to do that. And for me, I know that my role then differs, which I'm happy to do. You know, I'm a team player. But yeah, I also want to take that responsibility of now I've got the smell for it again in these last couple of games. I want to take that responsibility again as well. And, you know, it's always nice to contribute with goals as well as playing well. And as for Ancelotti, you know, he's a big impact on the whole dressing room. I think his calmness is... a chilled demeanour. It kind of radiates around the changing room, and that's why on nights like this we come in and we're very relaxed regardless of what's going on around us.
We're going to do 2 last questions for Jude. Dos últimas preguntas.
Hola Jude, aquí izquierda. Abraham Romero, El Mundo, ¿qué tal? Has hablado de las críticas en Inglaterra después de la Eurocopa, de los momentos sin marcar en el Madrid. A eso se suma también el tercer puesto en el Balón de Oro y el segundo de Vini, que no sé si dentro del vestuario ha gustado más o menos. No sé si todo eso, la suma de todas las cosas, te hacen tener un nuevo reto y un nuevo desafío en este momento de la temporada, como de dar un puño en la mesa otra vez, a pesar de haber ganado Liga y Champions. Como que el mundo del fútbol os reta de nuevo.
I think, you know, when we won the Champions League, that was our Ballon d'Or. You know, that's the highest thing you can win as a club. That's for us, the team being recognised as the best team in the world, us being the team to beat in Europe, if you like. And for me, that's probably enough. You know, I don't think too much into the Ballon d'Or stuff. You know, there was a lot of talk about it. Me personally, I think it should have went to someone of Madrid, particularly Vini. In my opinion, I don't think Rodri's an unworthy winner at all. I think he's an amazing player. I just felt because of the season we had as a team that it would have been reasonable. But yeah, what was the first bit again? Sorry, where you said about criticism or something like that. Yeah. Oh, about the new challenge. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was talking too much. I lost me mind. Yeah, criticism is part of the game, and I know how to accept it. But when it feels personal, it gives you, like you said, it does give you a bit of a new challenge to continue to shut people up. I think it's something that I've dealt with since I was very young, coming into the first team at Birmingham, when people aren't quite sure you're ready. Yeah, you take those little things and you try and use it as motivation. But like I said, it's not something that, you know, I'm really worried about and things like that. I understand it's part of the game.
Última pregunta, last question.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Miguel Ángel Toribio en directo para Radio Marca. En los últimos dos partidos, contra Osasuna y Leganés, hemos visto un equipo mucho más solidario, sin dejar tanto espacio entre líneas, más comprometido. Te quería preguntar por qué esa diferencia con respecto a otros partidos. Si piensas que habéis experimentado un cambio en la actitud.
I think when you go through a tough moment as a team in football, I think it forces you to have those honest conversations about what you're not doing well enough. And I think one of our problems, maybe we weren't doing the foundational things as well as we possibly could. And I think in these last two games, what I've really been impressed by as a team is that attention to detail of the small things, you know. And we'll always have players that can win us games and things like that. But I think that attention to detail on having the right attitude with and without the ball is what's really taken us to that next level in these two games. And yeah, it'll be important to show tomorrow night as well. They're a huge team, obviously a massive game, and you know it's the bare minimum, I think, for us to show our fans here at Anfield that we can put on a right face and we can get a result.
Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, mate.